Well, the top story tonight, after a campaign of heat and dust, allegations over financial packages and much political drama, it's now finally official. India's 13th president will be Pranab Mukherjee. The result was a foregone conclusion, especially after Mamata Banerjee announced her support last week. But in a sense, the only suspense was over how much Pranab Mukherjee would win by. Well, he crossed the 7 lakh barrier out of a total of just over 10 lakh votes. He got just below 70%. P.A. Sangma was hit by cross-voting in Karnataka. Also, none of the northeast states. He won none of the northeast states. He managed to get just over 3 lakh votes. Mr. Mukherjee crossed the halfway mark just after 4 o'clock this evening. Within minutes, top leaders including the Prime Minister and Sonia Gandhi arrived at the President-elect's house. Mr. Mukherjee will now be sworn in as President on Wednesday at 11:30 in the morning. Speaking to NDTV's Sunil Prabhu, Mr. Mukherjee said he was grateful to be elected, a sentiment he echoed in his press conference later.
At this stage, I would like to express my deep gratitude and appreciation, and I would like to thank the people of this great country for conferring this distinction by electing me to this high office.
No one really expected any major surprises while counting of votes. Pranab Mukherjee was expected to win quite comfortably. But then the turning point came once the Karnataka votes were counted. In a BJP-ruled state, Pranab Mukherjee managed to get more votes than P.A. Sangma. To be precise, Pranab Mukherjee got 117 votes and P.A. Sangma got 103 votes, quite clearly indicating that there had been cross-voting. So while Mr. Mukherjee's managers celebrated their Karnataka moment, P.A. Sangma didn't take to it very kindly.
Well, everybody knows that the so-called economic packages have gone in a very big way. You know, we all know that there has been some threats. You know, be it Mulayam Singh, be it Mayawati, be it Chief Minister of Nagaland.
P.A. Sangma's desperate bid to become India's first tribal president has meant that his presidential campaign has been marked by one controversy after the other. In the same breath as he congratulated Pranab Mukherjee on his win, he also talked about possibly challenging his election in the Supreme Court over the Office of Profit controversy. One thing's for sure, Sangma's ensured that the 2012 presidential election will not be forgotten in a hurry.
I received much more than I have given them. I will try to justify the modest way as I can to be of the trustworthy of my people.
What an amazing political journey it's been for Pranab Mukherjee. And one interesting fact, of course, is that now both India's first citizen and also India's Prime Minister are both from village boys. They came from rural India. They studied in village schools. The Prime Minister studied under the street lights. Pranab Mukherjee had to swim every day, had to swim when it was flooded in his area to actually reach his school. So in a way, a huge victory there as well, that both of them have reached the top positions in India today, the Prime Minister and the President. So let's just go across to Kishalay Bhattacharjee, who is at Pranab Mukherjee's village, where there have been celebrations through the day. And Kishalay, really, where you are illustrates how far Pranab Mukherjee has actually come today.
Yes, Sonia, Kirnahar is ecstatic. I mean, it's been a carnival of the rural Indian style. All kinds of forms of musical instrument were out, and since 2 in the afternoon, Kirnahar is a small little township of a village. That is where people have been out on the roads celebrating, and the celebrations, as you see, had not ended. The action has moved from his home, from his house, where his sister stays, Annapurna Banerjee, and we were with her since morning. She was ecstatic. She said that she had prayed, she had wished one day her loving brother, whom she referred or addresses as Poltu, would become the President of India. She had wonderful anecdotes which she related to us, and now, of course, the celebration here in this club. This is interesting. Why I'm saying? Because Pranab Mukherjee started his social work, from this club. This club was established in 1936. That is where, by Pranab Mukherjee's father. In 1948, Pranab Mukherjee started working with the refugees of the Noakhali riots from what is now Bangladesh and out here. And this club has been here since then. And also an interesting fact about this club is that this is one of the places, Kirnahar, where Gandhiji's ashes were brought and immersed out here. Very few places. So this club, where Pranab Mukherjee is a life member, and we have with us one of his friends who's been working with him since 1960s, Banamali Rai. Banamali Rai, which is one of your most memorable moments, or what do you think when you think of Pranab Mukherjee? Today is a special day for Kirnahar, isn't it?
In fact, we expected Pranab Mukherjee as Prime Minister, and he deserves it. But unfortunately, he didn't achieve the post, but he achieved very much, so much posts and so much activities he has done for the nation. But after all, before just in this election, Lok Sabha election, he declared that he will not contest in next election, and he required retirement from politics. And I am thankful to Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and UP that they have declared, they have given graceful retirement of Pranab Mukherjee being president, being selected him as the president.
Well, his hometown, his friends would have loved to see him as the Prime Minister. I mean, he's always been the Prime Minister in waiting, we know. And there's an interesting fact, Sonia, I would like to share with you.
Yes.
When I asked his sister how did he fare in his exams in his school, she said he always came second. Probably that's, providential. And his town, his friends, his relatives would have loved to see him as a Prime Minister. But they are very happy, ecstatic, as you can see, of him becoming the President of India. Sonia?
Right, Kishaloi, the celebrations there and the wonderful dancing there behind you. But, well, from UPA's #2 to India's first citizen, I don't think that's anything really to be disappointed about. Thanks so much, Kishaloi, for joining us tonight. Let me go across now to our larger topic of the debate tonight. What will the Pranab presidency be like? Well, what will it be like, especially from a man who has been deeply political his entire career? The challenge now to transform himself into a man above politics, from the UPA's eternal #2 to India's first citizen, the man who is now entrusted with preserving, protecting and defending the Constitution. How will the Pranab presidency redefine our image of the presidency as well? Well, joining me on that tonight, I'm joined by Ashwini Kumar, Minister of State in the Union Cabinet. I'm also joined by Somnath Chatterjee and Mr. N.R. Narayan Murthy. Interesting because both these men could well have been India's president as well. They're often debated amongst names and lists, so wonderful to get that perspective tonight. I'm also joined by Sudhindra Kulkarni of the BJP, Derek O'Brien of the Trinamool Congress. Thank you all very much for joining me. Ashwini Kumar, across to you first. And as I said, often Congress managers and ministers have to face flack when in the studios, but today for once, the UPA has something to celebrate.
Well, we have a lot to celebrate. I think not only the UPA, the nation has a lot to celebrate, because we have given to the country a president who will certainly be one of the finest presidents and would be, I think, truly a symbol of India's unity. He would be the upholder of the constitutional conscience and certainly the dignity of the Republic. We are related as a political party and as a political formation because we have recorded a spectacular victory for our nominee. This was, of course, a foregone conclusion, but there were many prophets of doom and many compulsive cynics who said that this election would see the dismemberment of the UPA. On the contrary,
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app, fully optimized for Retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.